Hi, once again, my name is Nob. Well, this topic today is about the law. The name of the topic is Tanach law versus law of the land versus the UCC colorable law. So first thing, law has got to be the most important thing in this life. It's almost like everything comes with a manual. Whatever thing you buy, even a car, has a manual. So human beings, we come with a manual, and that manual is the law of what you have to follow to stay alive. For some people, it's the law of Yah. For some people, it's the law of whatever land they live in, or some law in some religion they're in. So basically, law is rule, the rule you have to follow. The rule you have to follow on how to do things the right way. So anybody who's not into following any rule, that means you're lawless. Anybody that don't want to do anything the right way, you just simply are lawless. So if you're against law, you are a lawless. So this topic, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Tanakh law, and then the so-called Constitution of America, which is the law of the land, and then another type of law that a lot of people don't even know about. A lot of people not even aware that that's the law that they have to follow, but they don't even know. It's called the UCC code. This UCC colorable law. Colorable means something that looks real, but it's not real. In other words, fake. So, like I said, if you somebody who don't like law, you are a lawless person. Everything has to follow law. Even animals follow law. Even if you watch every animal, whether a dog, you see a dog will just take a dump somewhere, and then he knows to turn around and drop some dirt on it. So even the dog knows, after I take a dump, I gotta cover it just in case people, anything walking by, they don't need to step on their dung. So if you're a person that hates laws, hates to follow law, you're a lawless person, you like lower than a dog. Even birds follow laws. Every animal follow laws. One thing, people who don't like to follow laws quick to say, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. Like Tupac said, he had a song called Only God Can Judge Me. Where's Tupac now? That's a dumb statement. Listen, 50 Cent, another rapper, he said, I don't say only God can judge me in his song because I see things clear. Obviously, Tupac did not see things clear. 50 said, I don't say only God can judge me because I see things clear. For anything, these white judges will give my black ass 100 years. That's what he said. 50 Cent, I guess, knows better than Tupac. You know, a lot of people quick to say, lawless people, quick to say, well, you can't judge me. Not only judges, earthly judges can judge you. Every single human person can judge you. Even animal can judge you. What is judging? Judging is able to use your mind on knowing what's right from what wrong. So if you're doing something wrong as a human being, I should be able to judge whether it is right or wrong. So when fools, clowns, idiots are saying you can't judge me, only God can judge me, that's a dumb statement. That means something is wrong with you mentally. So all of you who quick to say don't judge me, yes, everybody can judge you. Yeah, they're not being a judge in a court of law, but they're able to see what you're doing is either right or wrong. So you fools, you need to stop saying dumb things like this. That makes you sound, the minute somebody around me saying this, I already know exactly what you are, an idiot. What is an idiot? The word idiot, if you check the root, the etymology of the word idiot, it means a private person. A private, what is a private person? Somebody who's private, not public, private. Whatever you think about, whatever knowledge you have, is inside your mind. You know, that's an idiot. Idiot is like a snake. A snake cannot hear because a snake doesn't have ears. Snake cannot see because the snake is blind. So whatever the snake does, from whatever he knows, is from his mind. That's why the Bible uses a serpent as a evil person. That's an idiot. That's a fool. Whatever you know is from your own personal thing. It's like the Bible says, the fool is right in his own mind. You know, only in his mind he's right. Because a fool doesn't care about no type of law, no knowledge. And we live in a world where you can say the majority of people, if not everybody, maybe 99.9% of people, they are idiots. They are fools. That's why you almost every countries in the world, they are owned by international bankers. And those international bankers, they don't care for none of those countries' constitution, laws, because they know these people are, for the most part, these people are fools. They act like animals. The only way to deal with them, you gotta force them to do things. They drive in a car, you gotta force them to stop at the red light. Whatever they do. That's why you hear a lot of people, you hear statements like, well, a lot of things are unconstitutional. And they are. But the people who's controlling those lands, especially America, those international bankers, they don't care for no constitution. They force people to do things because they see people are like zombies. You have to force them to do things. And if you don't force them, nothing gonna be done right. Because most people are lawless. They don't like to do things according to rules and regulation or whatever it is. So, but one good thing though about these people bringing their own rules to force people to follow and totally bypass whatever constitution they have. Well, this video gonna be mainly based on American Constitution. So I'm not familiar with Canadian Constitution. I'm not familiar with other people's Constitution. I live in America. So for those of you overseas who's watching this, I'm sure your Constitution, I'm sure whatever's happening in America is happening in your country. I don't care what country you're in. I'm sure you have other international bankers, private people that own your country and that turn your country to a business, to a corporation, just like America, just like they turn it. You see, in the Constitution, you'll have all men are created equal. And then now, when they turn America to a corporation, there's no such thing as a person. There's no such thing as a man. Everybody turns to a business. Everybody, because they are a corporation. Everybody turns to a business. No more person. Everybody turned to slaves. It's like a big plantation. So after you watch this video, I'm gonna shed I'm gonna shed a little light on these things. You may have an idea what's going on. But like I was about to say, one good thing with these people, when they come with their UCC codes and take over other countries' constitution, they have loopholes in these codes where you can use and take these codes to court and force the judges to go back to the Constitution, or else they'll have to admit that okay, they belong to other international bankers international magnets. And if they cannot admit that, then they have to give you what you asked for. They have to abide. They have to judge the case according to the so-called constitution, the so-called law of the land. So there's going to be a few loopholes that I'm going to go over to open the minds of a lot of you. And then from watching this video or these videos, most likely going to be more than one. Whatever you do after this, how you go out there and trying to claim your rights properly is all on you. A lot of people don't know that according to America, like I'm saying again, I don't know what's going on in Canada, France, I don't know. I'm sure it's similar. According to the American Constitution, according to paying taxes is totally optional. Register a car is totally optional. You don't have to do according to the law. But according to the UCC code, yes. If you don't do it, they put penalty on you. They can put you in jail. But if you can go to a court and corner the judge and have them to acknowledge the Constitution, you don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to register your vehicle if you don't want to. You don't have to pay no fines, even tickets. You don't have to even go to court, because the court that they have people follow. These courts are colorable courts. They are not real courts. No, they are fake courts. They are courts they instituted after they took over 1938, after they took over so-called America and turned it into a corporation, a big business, a big plantation, and enslave all the so-called citizens. But a lot of people don't even know. So like I said, with the judging part, for those of you who hate to hear the word, don't judge me, everybody can judge you, because judging is part of being human. Whatever you see, something in your mind gotta say whether it's good or bad, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's high or low. So stop, you lawless people, stop with that "you can't judge me" BS. That's suicide thinking like this. That makes you sound like a big fool. So now, Tanach law versus law of the land, the so-called Constitution, versus UCC, colorable code, UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. So let me start with the Tanach law. A lot of you already know the Tanach law. Tanach, for those of you who don't know what Tanach is, that's another word for the so-called Old Testament. Because it's not really an Old Testament. By calling it old, that's like using psychology on the book. Old, that means, okay, you don't have to follow it. It's old. There's something new. That's why a lot of fools say, well, if you follow the old, this is old-fashioned. It is not Old Testament. It is the Tanach. I already broke down the word Tanach in many videos. So those laws in the so-called Old Testament, those laws are common sense laws. Every single last one of them. If anybody don't see them as common sense laws, there's something wrong with you mentally. Because these laws, they're like manuals on what you must do as human beings to stay alive. On what to eat, what not to eat, what to wear, on what not to wear, based on the fabrics, what to do and what not to do. They're all common sense. Every single last one of them, common sense. I mean, you have some sacrificial law. Obviously, those, nobody's doing sacrifice now. There's no temple. At least those, your sacrifices, I guess, is your prayer. When you mess up, if you are following any so-called gods, so-called creators, so-called whatever you're following, if you mess up, you got to go say, my bad. But back then, that's what sacrifices were for. At least you bring your sacrifices to him. So the Tanakh law, I'm not going to really dwell on it too much, because there are a bunch of common sense laws. A lot of people are already aware of those laws. Whether they want to follow them or not, that's them. But they're already aware of those laws. So that law, I don't have to say that much, although there's a bunch of them. And the next law of the so-called land, the Constitution. And those laws, a lot of people think they have to do with the Bible's law. They're kind of right, but they mainly based, the American Constitution mainly based on Christian laws, not Tanach laws, the so-called New Testament laws, because those people, those so-called founding fathers, those people in those days, they didn't really care for the Tanakh laws. They mainly care for Jesus' laws. You know, so that's the so-called Constitution, the land of the law of the land. And then you have the UCC, like I already said. UCC stands for Uniform Commercial Code, and these are colorable code laws. Those laws actually replace somewhat the Constitution. Once the Fed took over, now I say once the Fed took over, I'm sure a lot of people say, what do you mean the Fed took over? You mean the federal government? No. The Fed I'm talking about is not the federal government. The fake Fed, the Federal Reserve, a private agency that took over America. And once they took over, they said, okay, whatever laws you people are gonna follow, gonna be laws that we give you to follow, that we say, because we took over, you people gonna have to follow what we say. In 1938, now I'm gonna give you a brief little history on how it started. 1938, all the top judges, top lawyers, top U.S. attorneys were invited to a meeting in America. And then they were told that America is now a bankrupt nation. They have creditors, international bankers that own America entirely. Not a little bit, not half, entirely. And because of this, America has turned to a slave country. And all the courts, because of this, all the courts are told to operate in admiralty jurisdiction. Later on, I'm going to break all that down. A lot of people say admiralty. What is this? That's a big word. Admiralty / maritime jurisdiction. That's according to the people in 1938, when they fully let the judges, the top lawyers, know this is what it is. So if you're a judge, you have to follow that. So, since 1938 until now, these people, they still feel that they are not ready yet to let the truth out. So every time you go to court, if you're a lawyer or somebody who knows the truth, you corner the judge who's trying to admit to the truth, you're not allowed to. So once they see that you know, most of the time, if not all the time, you're gonna win the case, because it's not, like they say, it's not expedient for them to tell you the truth. And what is the truth? That America is a bankrupt country and is owned by international bankers. And then you have to follow specific laws. One section in the Constitution called the Admiralty part, the maritime laws. Now, let's go to the Constitution now. The Constitution of America has three, for those who already know, who has a little idea with the so-called American Constitution. The American Constitution has three areas of jurisdiction in which their courts can operate. That's it. Three in the Constitution, three areas of jurisdiction. One is the common law. I'm sure a lot of you had a little American history in school. You know, I'm refreshing your memory. One is the American law, the common law. Two, equity law. Three, admiralty / maritime laws. But once these people took over, they said, well, the hell with the common law, the hell with the equity law. It's all about admiralty law. So the common law supposedly is based on so-called God's law. And the common law, for them to charge you for anything, there has to be a damaged party, according to the Constitution. That something that means you did something bad to somebody or somebody's property. You did something bad. If you didn't do anything bad, they couldn't charge you. You didn't do anything bad to somebody. If you did something bad to yourself, that's your business, according to the so-called American Constitution. In other words, if you take crack, any crazy thing, that's your business. As long as you didn't do it to somebody else, you didn't force somebody to take crack and then they die, something happens to them, you were good, according to the common law. So, for example, in our time, if you get in a car, first of all, you say, I'm just going to buy a car. I'm not even going to register it. That's the first thing. According to the Constitution of America, you didn't break any law. Who did you damage? Or what did you damage by buying a car and say, look, I'm not going to register it? That's just a new law for slaves. That's according to the UCC code, not according to the Constitution. So now you get in a car, you drive and you're going 200 miles per hour. See, my car, I can do 200 miles per hour if I want to. If a cop pulls me over, now, yeah, he's going to give me a ticket. That's very unconstitutional. That's very against the law, American law. I didn't hit nobody. But if my license now, when I saw my name, because now I'm jumping ahead. I'm still going to come back to this. If in my license, I had reserved my right, according to the Constitution, I had right without prejudice under my signature. If I go to court, the judge has no choice but to throw that damn fine away. That's according to the American Constitution. So that's the common law. Equity law. Now, has to do with contract. If you do a contract, you sign a contract with somebody, you have to follow it. But if you don't follow it, then in court, a judge can hold you in contempt of the court. They can hold you liable, guilty, because you didn't follow the contract. That's the equity law. But it's not a criminal law. It's just for contract. And then you have the third area of jurisdiction, third section. That's the whole Constitution. So the third section is the admiralty law. Admiralty. Go to the dictionary and see what the word admiralty means. Admiralty / maritime. It's laws pertaining to the sea. If you conducting business on the sea, that's the admiralty law. I guess overseas, that law had nothing to do with whether you were driving a car too fast, whether you didn't want to pay your income tax. Just like I said before, paying income tax is very unconstitutional. What do you see? If you analyze those three areas of jurisdiction, what do you see paying income tax? It's not a common law. You're not damaging anybody. You're just not allowing somebody to take some money from your paycheck. You're not damaging anybody. And it has nothing to do with equity law. It has nothing to do with equity law. You didn't do any contract. You're not doing no contract with anybody. Say, look, we're doing a contract, and then I'm gonna give you some of my paycheck. No, when you get a job, you don't have no contract with no IRS. IRS is a bunch of crooks. They enslave America, and they hide under the word Fed as if they're part of the federal government. They are not federal governments. They're just a Federal Reserve Agency. They're the one somehow. In 1913, somehow some of them got into the government and they were able to get a say-so that says we're gonna be the one to print money for this country. And then somehow, obviously, the people were either scared of them back then, or they were already running the government. Say, look, we're gonna pass this law and say, look, we're gonna print the money. In no time, see, they came out with the federal notes. Do I have any federal notes on me? Any federal notes? All right, let me get one federal note. In fact, let me get the dollar bill. These are not money. These are not money. These are notes. Federal notes. Real money according to the Constitution. Real money according to the Constitution of America is gold and silver. Those are called real substance. Once upon a time, you could take one of those notes, federal notes, from the so-called federal agency, Federal Reserve, not the federal government, meaning the executive branch of America, the one where the president is the head. Not that. That's part of the government. Federal Reserve has none to do with the federal government. Federal Reserve is not federal at all. Federal Reserve is probably the most unfederal entity in the world. It's not federal at all. So this is a federal note. So let's say this is $1. So back then they'll have okay, I have no silver dollar coin. A real dollar. So people would have their money at home, too heavy to carry, bunch of silvers. And back then, when you had silvers, you could bring it to the government and have them turn them to coins for you back then, because a coin, 1 ounce silver, if you have 1 ounce, regular 1 ounce in your house, that's the same thing as that coin. So you could bring your silver to the government and it'll turn that silver into a coin for you, and they give it to you. The same, they're the same thing. So you had your coins, your dollar coins in your house, too heavy, you don't want to carry them. So the Federal Reserve allowed people to use federal notes to say, look, here's a note. Here's a note. I'm going to buy this thing from you for 20 silver dollars. I'm going to give you 20 notes, 20 fake papers, 20 papers as notes, meaning IOUs. I'm going to give you 20 IOUs. And then you can always, after you give me the thing for 20 silver, whatever it is, you can always come and cash in with that notes, and I'll give you your silver, your real money. Once upon a time, that's how it happened. Until all the silver and gold somehow walked out somewhere, disappeared. They're not used anymore to back up this note. So all you have now is just notes. That's why they call them colorable money, meaning fake money. It's not money. It's not backed up. Not only it's not backed up by no silver, you already see silver, the value of silver still maintains value. And that paper kept going down to the point where one silver dollar used to worth one note, one greenback. And then later on, one silver dollar worth 2 greenbacks, 2 notes, and then 5, and then 10, and then 15. Now, you want to get a real silver dollar, a real dollar, according to the Constitution, a real silver dollar, you're going to need at least 30 of those just to get $1. That's how worthless these things are. But these people who took over America, they said, look, since we own America, we say what it is. We're going to print those papers, and those are the real money. Don't worry about silver or gold. We don't have silver and gold anymore. They're being stolen. They're hidden, whatever. Some green alien ET just came with his little bike. He came down. He took all the silver and gold. He brought them to some other planet. So now the only thing we have is just these notes, worthless papers. So after 1938, once these people took over, everything became worthless, fake, colorable. The court became colorable. The notes became colorable. The colorable money, fake money. Everything became colorable. Once you understand this, that's how, if you go to court, I mean, I guess if you're a good lawyer, you know the law, you can corner the judges and their officers. I mean, somebody, I guess you don't have to be a lawyer. Somebody who knows the law, you can corner them, trying to force them to admit what it is, and they cannot admit what's going on. So they have no choice but to say, okay, you win, go away. I remember in the 1990s, I was part of a organization. They knew about these laws, and they said, okay, well, since income tax, we don't have to pay for them. We don't have to pay income tax. I'm going to go into the history of income tax. I'm also going to go into the history of how they became owners of so-called America through debts. So they said, since we don't have to pay income tax, so this is what we're going to do. Every single last one of us, we're going to write letters to the court system, to the IRS, especially the IRS, and say, look, we are not going to pay not even $1 more for income tax, because it is against the American Constitution for us to pay for income tax. I'm going to show you how it is against the law. It's some admiralty garbage they're forcing people to follow. And then if you don't know, you just keep doing it. So letters was being sent. Say, look, we're not gonna pay. Not only we're not gonna pay, every little taxes we already paid, we want all that back. Send back to us. Well, it was a good amount of us. A lot of us started to receive our money back. All the taxes we ever paid, and we're not gonna pay anymore. A lot of us. Once they noticed it was wow, it's not just individuals out there that's doing it. This is a group of people that's part of something, some type of organization that's doing it. And they're a bunch of Negroes doing it. Then these people started to show up. I guess so-called men in black had to show up like, look, we understand all these things you people saying, whatever, law, paying taxes, unconstitutional, and all this thing. Guess what? We don't give a damn. Any of you do it one more time. That's how evil these people are. Any of you do it one more time, it's not gonna be good for this organization. That's it. It's not gonna be good for you guys. All you're gonna go to jail. And then guess what? We all stop. That's it. And I didn't even get my money, any of my money back yet. You know, but I'm sure some of you are aware of what I'm saying. Some of you probably like, oh, this Negro probably on crack or something. He must be high. What are you talking about? You know. So I was once a part of whatever organization, and a lot of us received the money. It's just I didn't receive mine yet. But it's not over until, like they say, until the fat women, the fat ladies sing. So it's not over yet. You know. Now, one last thing I'm gonna say, because there's gonna be a bunch of videos, a few videos about this topic, and I'm not trying to make it none of the videos too big. So I'm about to wrap it up a little bit. I'm gonna continue with the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, because it's not a small topic. So those of you who are not lawless, you are interested in knowing laws. As you can see behind me, if you could see, there's a library of law books over here. So I'm very serious when it comes to laws. If I know following the Most High's laws, the Tanach laws, natural laws of nature, is the right way to live your life. Definitely, if I'm living in a country, their laws, I gotta know their laws. I gotta know, you know, because laws were supposed to they were put out there to make life livable. cause people to be in harmony with each other, not to be to enslave people. But what happened in 1938? Because of debts, because of these people forcing America to be in debts under them. I'm gonna go through the whole debts from 19. In fact, I'm gonna start with 1930. I'm gonna show you how the debt was like 15 million, and then jump to 20, and then jump to 30, and then before you know it, these people came from 30. It jumped to 200 something, 60, and at that point they enslaved so-called America. And it all started with one main family that's leading those international bankers. One main family called the Rothschild. I remember in college I had to do a presentation. Well, the professor said, listen, each of you can pick whatever topic you want to talk about and enlighten us on something. I picked the Rothschild. And I'm sure a lot of people don't even know Rothschild. What the hell is that? That's the richest family in the world. That's running all these banks. They're the richest family in the world. I'm not talking about no Elon Musk, that other whatever. What's his name? Bill Gates. Those are none compared to the Rothschild. Those are puppets. Those are nothing. Those are slaves. I'm talking about real people that really run stuff. So with this, I'm gonna stop this one here, and then I'm gonna continue with the next video. So I didn't even say anything yet. So far I only broke down a couple of things. I got to Admiralty law. I didn't even get to UCC yet. I'm gonna get to the history of American debts, just like I'm sure a lot of you already know if you're paying attention. America, the national debt is what, 30 trillion? 30 trillion? Who do you think they owe $30 trillion to? Some alien in space? Who, China? Russia? Ukraine? Africa? Jamaica? Haiti? Who do you think they owe those debts to? The people that owns America. So with this, I'm going to say shalom. Stay tuned for the next part. And the next part. And the next part. And the next part. Because I can see this is going to be many parts. Shalom.